Long ago, in a West African kingdom surrounded by dark forests and towering mountains, there lived a beast. This creature was not like any other. He was large and powerful, covered in thick, black fur with glowing red eyes that could strike fear into the bravest heart. His roar could shake the very earth, and his claws were as sharp as daggers. The villagers whispered about the beast for years, telling stories of how it roamed the forests at night, hunting and scaring anyone who dared to cross its path. But the beast was not evil, as many believed. It was simply misunderstood. One winter, a terrible storm struck the kingdom, and it brought with it a deep snow that blanketed the land for days. The villagers were trapped in their homes, unable to go out for food or supplies. One of the village families, the Alaides, had a daughter named Olamide. She was kind, brave, and loved by all who knew her. Olamide was determined to help her family survive the harsh weather, so she set out into the forest to find firewood and supplies, despite the warnings about the beast that lived there. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the winds howled and the trees swayed dangerously. Olamide kept walking, her determination stronger than her fear. She did not believe in the stories of the beast. She thought they were just tales to scare children. But as the hours passed and the storm grew fiercer, Olamide realized she had wandered too far. The forest was unfamiliar, and the snow was so thick she couldn't see more than a few feet ahead. Suddenly, she heard a loud growl, like the rumble of thunder. Her heart raced as she turned to see a shadow looming from the trees. It was the beast. Frozen in fear, Olamide expected the worst. But instead of attacking her, the beast just stood there, staring at her with those glowing red eyes. There was something strange in his gaze. A sadness, as if he were searching for something he could not find. Before she could move or speak, the beast stepped forward, his heavy paws sinking into the snow. He reached out with his clawed hand, not to harm her, but to gently lift her. With surprising tenderness, the beast carried her through the snow, back to his lair hidden deep within the forest. When they arrived at the lair, Olamide was frightened, but too exhausted to resist. The beast placed her down near a warm fire and made sure she was safe, offering her food and water. Though she was still afraid, Olamide could sense that the beast meant her no harm. He acted like a caretaker, providing for her needs in ways that seemed almost human. Days passed, and the storm outside raged on. Olamide came to realize that the beast was not the monster the villagers had described. He was lonely, trapped in the forest far from the world of men. He had been cursed long ago, a powerful prince turned into a beast by a wicked sorcerer as punishment for his pride. The curse could only be broken by the love of a pure-hearted person, someone who could see beyond his frightening appearance. As the days turned into weeks, Olamide spoke with the beast, learning his story. They talked about the world beyond the forest, and Olamide shared tales of the village she came from. The beast, whose true name was Prince Adebayo, listened intently, his heart growing fond of the brave young woman. Olamide, too, began to see past the beast's frightening form, realizing that beneath the fur and claws was a gentle soul who had been unjustly cursed. One evening, as the storm finally began to calm, Olamide stood at the entrance of the lair, looking out at the newly fallen snow. The beast approached her, his large frame casting a shadow over her. He spoke softly. "Olamide, I have kept you here against your will, but in all my years of loneliness, I have come to love you. You are kind, brave, and true. Will you stay with me, not as a prisoner, but as my wife?" Olamide turned to face him, her heart filled with compassion. "Prince Adebayo," she said, "you have shown me kindness and warmth, unlike the stories I've heard. I will stay with you, not because of your curse, but because I have come to care for you, too." The moment she spoke those words, something miraculous happened. A warm light enveloped the beast, and slowly his monstrous form began to change. His fur melted away, and his claws retracted. Before Olamide's eyes, Prince Adebayo was restored to his true form. A handsome young man, noble and dignified, with eyes full of gratitude. The curse had been broken. Olamide and Prince Adebayo returned to the kingdom together, where the villagers were astonished to see the beast now transformed into a prince. The people were ashamed of their fear and misunderstanding, and they welcomed the prince with open arms. Olamide and Adebayo were married in a grand ceremony, and they ruled the kingdom with wisdom and compassion. They never forgot the lesson they had learned, that love, understanding, and kindness could break even the strongest of curses. And so, the story of the beast who took a wife became a legend, a tale told for generations to remind everyone that true beauty comes from within, and that love can heal even the deepest wounds.